Hey, family. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation Show. Be more team talk show. Be more team talk show with Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation Show. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. What's up, family? You know what? I laid here all day long. I laid here all day long. Didn't touch the phones. I did cut the TV on. I normally cut the TV on and I don't watch it. But I cut the TV on and I watched it. And I dozed back off and I watched it. I do. Only reason why I'm saying that, peace of mind. A peace of mind. A lot of us always have to find something to create. We have to find something to argue about. We have to find something to do. And it's more like with me, right? It was like, just leave it alone. Don't touch it. I already wrote my prompt, right, for the day. So it was like, just leave it alone. Don't touch it. Don't do nothing else. You know, I had to look at myself. Did I have something to do? Or do I have to do this? Do I have to do that? And realizing I don't. It's more like rest this, you know. And I work hard at this. That's the only reason why I'm saying it to family, to help us understand how important it is to maintain your health and all that good stuff. And sometimes it's okay. Just lay back, relax, and don't do nothing. Lay back, relax. And I was debating, let me turn this down. I was debating once again, should I come on? Sometimes it's okay to relax, you get it? And sometimes you feel truly obligated, but you don't have to. And then where I'm at, you know, mine's is all about news, energy, empowering, helping people to grow. It's not to find things to just want to complain about. You know, somebody did make a statement just before I came on, and I'm gonna tell y'all, kid got this prompt up about Carmela's legal team. I said Carmela got a beast for a legal team. Nah. Look, I'm gonna read this to y'all, right? Because I said I want to make short clips and send it back over. Because when I start looking at the people that's representing him, now y'all know I'm a community activist, right? I'm a community organizer. So y'all know I try to stay firm or stay up on our civil rights, equal rights, and constitutional rights. See, a lot of y'all like to run off at your mouth, and it's okay, because I'm gonna tell you, when y'all make little statements about certain things that's not connecting together the way, you know, my mind might go, I'll check it out and see if it's true or not. So I have to go to Snoop, right? Or I had to go to fact checks to make sure whatever that's being said is basically from their reporting is right. So I can come back and say something. You know, I got to check with other journalists and stuff like that, right? That's how you gather information for a lot of y'all. And you can use AI and all this stuff too, right? You can use AI, you can use all of that to gather the information that you want when it comes to talking and making a point. But I just want to say this for a lot of y'all that don't do your information, don't do your research when it comes to you talking about certain things, certain topics. Whew, it can make you look ridiculous. That's all. Because you want to conversate just to open up your mouth. And when some people realize that, be honest with you, it makes you look incompetent. So look, I just looked this up the other day when I heard something about the team that representing him now. Now I want to tell y'all, we already know he was convicted of 35 years. We already know. It had to have been, in this incident, in this case, a lot of loose ends. Because guess what? The full 6-attorney team taking over the case includes Russell Wilson II. That's the lead counsel. Then you got Michael L. Ware, right? Second chair. He's from the Innocent Project. I'm a part of the Innocent Project. Even though we know he was found guilty. So y'all got to watch what you say out your mouth. He's with the Innocent Project of Texas. That's Michael L. Ware. Listen to the team. Then you got Gary Bledsoe. He's the third chair of Texas. He's with the NAACP. Then you got Brooke Cluse, something like that. She's with Ben Crump law firm. Everybody thought it was Ben Crump himself. But if she's from Ben Crump firm, Ben Crump going to put his mouth in it as far as dealing with his lawyer from his firm. Them talking about stuff together. It's a team of them. Then you got Sean. He's with what's that D-Do law firm. Then you got Justin Moore. He's from Staff Moore law firm. And the reason why I'm saying this, if these people did not, and this is only because of the information that they said throughout the case, right? The videos that were shown that led up to the incident and everything. See, y'all so busy sitting up there, yeah, he this, he that. And I understand that. But once I started seeing them videos that they released, and just about everything I said out my mouth, as far as a community activist, as far as a community organizer, as far as someone that was defending him, everything I said out my mouth, which in my case should have worked for him, AI was telling me the defense attorney was using the same things. It's how the prosecutor was flipping it. You got to know their positions now. You got a defense attorney. He know you can be guilty of something, right? But his goal is to get you lesser time. If he can manipulate the system or play with the system to get you off, that's the goal for something that you actually did. That's what defense attorneys does. Or their goal is to help you, if not to get you off, to get you lesser time. That's the goal. Now, as a prosecutor, their goal is to sock it to your butt. Now, I'm going to say this. I see what you put in the Astro. I'm going to say this. I would not. If I was on the jury, I would not have found them guilty. I would not. Only because of what I seen and only because of what he said out his mouth. So y'all can justify it, play with it all you want. I don't give a heck. I'm just telling you from what the young man said out his mouth. You got 6 boys. Y'all see them boys going up on him. Them boys came from a whole different area. Right to the tent. And he went right up in that tent on him. And when you see it, you see them shuffling around. Not just him. It was some other ones too. So basically, they was trying to jump him. Like he said, this what the defense attorney was letting them know. Now, I'm looking at this. I got you, Astring. I got this, right? So, but now keep in mind, the way it was set to us at first, it was more like a one-on-one thing. But he was speaking to the group when he said, touch me and watch what happens. Remember, if y'all paid attention, if y'all paid attention, right? Somebody, I think they said that was I think they said that was Austin that fell down on the person that was sitting down with the yellow one. I think it was Austin afterwards. But I looked at that video that they sent over with them up there when they came up. When they came up on them, right? I sent that video over to 4 of my pages. Because I like the way y'all justify stuff. And the thing with that, I do certain things for conversation. Don't be coming on, don't get around me justifying and rationalizing people's bull crap. I don't like that. I don't like that. That's why I come off at my mouth the way I do. But before I do that, family, I have to gather enough information to get my point across. That's why when they ask me to come out and speak on a topic, when they ask me to speak on a topic, if this is not something you do, then just listen. Number one, when I'm asked to come and speak on anything, or if I'm doing somewhat of an investigation, I have to know what the freak I'm doing it for. Some people just love to talk. But the only thing I'm saying when I say that, know the difference in it. Know the difference.
Hey, what's up, Steven?
Ain't nothing much.
Okay, see, a lot of people don't know this, okay? I lived in Texas for 30 plus years. I lived in Houston, I lived in Austin, and I lived in Dallas. No, okay. One thing about Texas and the way Texas does things, okay? Number one, they don't like outside lawyers at all. At all. Okay? So you already know that Crump's lawyer either has to have her license in Texas because they do not like outside lawyers. Okay, I mentioned to someone that the Innocent Project was going to take the case. The reason being is because when this first happened, Greg Abbott along with Paxton spoke out about it, so they overcharged the young man. You understand that? They overcharged it, which made it political. All right. Number two, all right, when Metcalf's father started to show up at press conferences and made a big deal about the GoFundMe and everything else like that, he got on TikTok making racial statements back then before they issued out the gag order. Okay? All right. Now, I don't know how he get interviews on TikTok is amazing to me, but okay. All right. All right, number three, okay? The defense, the Metcalfs knew the judge, and they knew the prosecuting attorney. They knew him. That in itself has no real bearing until it came to jury selection. Once the defense objected to the 3 black teachers being put off the jury, that opened it up for appeal. The second thing is that when they asked for a lesser charge, the judge denied the lesser charge. The fifth thing is that when they were asking these individuals, these eyewitnesses, what was happening, there was a question, and you can look at the transcripts in which they asked the eyewitnesses, did they think that Carmelo Anthony committed murder? You don't ask witness that. You don't ask them. You never ask a witness. They're not an expert. Okay? They did not bring any real expert witnesses in. And the young man that invited Carmelo into the tent then lied. He was in contact with the prosecutor, and he was a defense witness, and said that he didn't even know Carmelo that well, which was a lie. So at this point, right, I think at this point, the defense knew right then and there they were going to lose the case. They were going to lose the case. They were going to lose it without a doubt. Spiritual healing. Okay? And so now, this is what people don't understand, okay? If they put Carmelo in way further, because if they really wanted him harmed in the TDJ system, they would have put him in Huntsville. They put him way away. I can't think of Valparaiso. It begins with a V, okay? But in all honesty, he could have went just to county jail because it was Collin County, and they typically will take you to county jail for crimes committed. They did not do that. So now, okay, the lie is that the family took the money because the family needed a place to live, blase, blase. That's neither here nor there, because Carmelo now is fully an adult. They charged him as an adult, okay? So at this point, his parents really does not have any decision on whether or not he could have pleaded out for a lesser charge. Well, the defense wanted to plead for a lesser charge. The judge denied the plea. They did not want it. They objected it and everything. Okay. So finally, he has the Innocent Project. He has all of these top lawyers, NAACP, because the prosecutor did something that indicates that he was derelict in his duties, and the defense attorney did not put on a great defense because he knew they were going to find him guilty. He knew it. Okay, what they didn't do was bring in Hunter's and Anthony's Hunter and whatever the young man Austin's history. They were known to be bullies. None of that was introduced.
They didn't want it
because when they want to smear a black person, they do it all the time. They did it to Trayvon Martin. They do it all the time. Okay? There was an interview that Hunter gave in the beginning of all of this that stated they grabbed him, his backpack, and they grabbed his sweatshirt. He then said, if you put your hands on me, okay, don't put your hands on me, just see what happens. But they looked at that as being provocative. That's not being provocative. That is giving a person a warning. Hey, don't put your hands on me. Okay? Because typically, right, police officers say that to other people. Keep your hands on your steering wheel. If you don't keep your hands on your steering wheel, I'm going to, okay? They use that same rhetoric. So why would they say that this young man was provoking the situation? The other thing is that people are confused. It was raining. Track students typically go to other people's tents all the time because they've been running with each other since they were small. So that was never an issue. But why would 6 individuals come from out of the rain and go directly to this young man to tell him to get up out of a tent? And it's raining outside. And why is it that he didn't have the right to feel in fear, and he's in a seated position, and they're almost 100 plus pounds bigger than him? And
how did they know? How did they know he was in the tent? Wait a minute. How did they know he was in the tent?
My thing is,
how did they know he was in the tent? They came from another area. How did they know he was in the tent?
That's the question. I don't. The thing is how did he know? And what difference does it make?
No. I got you with that. If you see them walking from another area, they're walking over to the tent. Once he gets to the tent, Austin goes up in the tent to basically address him. So how did they know he was in the tent? Well, I got that. I understand the Hunter part, but how did they see people missing this? They somewhere else.
How did they know he was in that
right.
tent? Right.
So how did they know? Because number one, it stated, I put it in last night. It stated that he was asked 15 times to leave by whoever that was there.
45 seconds? In 45 seconds?
He was asking, wait a minute. He was asked 15 times to leave. He didn't leave. Somebody reached out to Austin and told Austin that he was there. And for Austin to come, basically, to remove him. So basically, somebody reached out. That wasn't answered. When I seen them boys walking over there, common sense.
What I want to know is why didn't they question his brother, his twin?
Don't take it, because right now where I'm at with this, where I'm at with this, I'm looking at these boys walking over to the tent.
Okay.
And if I'm telling you point blank, it's not him.
Twin has information.
Let me say this. You and 6 other guys come up to me. Come up to me. Come up to me.
And you sitting.
Point blank. See, that's the point I was trying to make. Look at yourself. You somewhere. That's even if you're walking down the street and you see 6 guys coming. You hoping that if you stay on that same side, they don't do nothing to you. But they went up to him. So who told them? Because I'm looking at the statement where it was made about 15 times. Somebody had asked him because he was putting down the team. Somebody reached out to him. They either called him or text him, because when he came straight to Carmelo.
Okay, so you have to remember the young man that he was sitting next to talking to him said, "Hey guy, come on." They knew each other and invited him into the tent. You are correct. Okay.
That's
now,
Eddie. That's Eddie.
Okay. Okay. Right. Eddie. Daddy was communicating with the prosecutor. And you have defense witness,
well, guess what? Guess what? No, I'm not gonna hold on because I know what I do. Number one, I don't give a hold up, Astrid. Now we moving it all the way over here. That's the problem. I'm looking at what happened on the field. That's what happened. You got to go back to that. All that other stuff, them knowing each other, we understand that. Because guess what? They tried to say they didn't.
Okay, that's what I was trying to allude to, Stephen. We're on the same team. What I was getting ready to say was, how did they tell him to remove himself 15 times? I want you to understand the logic in this. 15 times, okay? Think about it.
Not Austin. It was some people there that they had asked him to leave.
Okay, but the thing is that the other people said it was Austin and Hunter that asked him to leave. See, I'm gonna do
this again. You see Austin and 6 boys walking to the tent.
Austin and his twin.
And Austin gonna go straight up to him. How did Austin know he was in the tent?
And that's a good question. How did Austin know that he was there?
Right. Yeah. Right. Now watch how people talk around. Somebody reached out to Austin to tell him that it's this guy here that's running off at his mouth, blah, 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 blah. We didn't ask him to leave, and he won't leave. Look how them boys. No, now only reason why, because everything I'm saying is like logic. It's like common sense with a behavior, and that's why I was looking at the defense attorney, because basically everything the defense attorney did, I would have done point blank myself. But the thing is, the prosecutor kept flipping it. He kept, no matter what he said, he was flipping it. The same way he did with them ladies. Check this out. When I found out, he explained to the judge that they are educators and they deal with children. How many of them damn jurors was parents and they deal with children? But the way he addressed it to the judge, that's why the judge wouldn't allow him to come in. I said, this is some bull crap. Because guess what? I'm a parent. I'm basically an educator. I deal with youth. So you wouldn't have want me up there. Once you found out I was a foster care parent, once you found out I mentored young men, you would have just, no, we don't need him.
Okay, so you do know that Metcalf's father said this, okay? And you know they're going to use it, okay? He said that because the 3 educators said that they would have a problem putting a black kid in jail, that's the reason why they were kicked off the jury. But also, let me tell you what else happened, okay? Because all of this is going to go in the appeal. They said Metcalf's father was intimidating the juries, making threats, acting acting a blatant fool. Why was he not removed? So it's a
Metcalf's father shouldn't have had nothing to do with the jury anyway.
Okay, that's the thing. The father shouldn't have said nothing to the damn
because
jury.
you know what?
Nothing.
I've been on juries a lot. I see how they do things. That's why I can say what I say. But the point is, when we awarded this young man for lead, right? We awarded him $6 million. I read off the amount. Now, the way the prosecutor presented the case, the boy was living with his grandmother and his mother. But the lease was in the mother's name. I mean the grandmother's. The way the prosecutor presented it, they wasn't supposed to have been in that house. But HUD Housing, when they found out it had lead in it, they put this boy in another house. So if his mother wasn't on the lease, why they gonna put him in another place? And I caught that shit. I said, oh my God. Because we wasn't going to award him nothing. That's why you got to pay close attention to how they flip and play stuff. Just like I'm just saying, because I said it all along. If prosecutors is going to I called them a bunch of liars, right? I said they are a bunch of liars. They are a bunch of manipulators. I was saying this to AI, but AI was flipping it to help you understand that you know the game, Mr. Copeland. It's a certain name for why they do what they do, what they do. And now I'm gonna tell you this. I understand. I would not. I can only say mate. I would not have found him guilty because of what he said. All that other bull crap doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter. I'm looking at what Austin said. All that other bull crap, hey, read. But the point was he felt threatened.
Austin said that he didn't want to fight him. But then if he didn't want to fight him, then he didn't want to fight him. Then he said, I don't think he got nothing in that backpack. And then he pushed him. Now, if you say you don't want to fight nobody, then you move on about your business, right?
Let me say this. I'm gonna do this. Mess with me when I was younger like that. I was 15 years old and I carried a pew-pew. Come to me. See how far you get.
I mean, I understand. I grew up in Chicago. I understand people. Look. Your sisters used to keep switchblades in they bra.
The ones I had, they used to cut down bamboo trees with it.
Okay? They used to keep them in their bra.
Look. I had to look at, be honest, what AI was explaining to me. We look at it in a realistic form, right? Because we see what happened. We seen what happened. But it was the laws that he was able to use. And once that came clear to me, I was like, you mother sucker. I'm talking about the prosecutor, right? Because be honest, it was not his intention. I don't think so. It wasn't his intention to take him out.
No, it was not.
You know, I don't think so, because he don't seem like he was that type of, I was a evil, nasty kid, right? So now, mind you, what it's saying, we had to separate all of that and mainly focus on what you came up and said, the Texas laws. Because once it hit me ass strong, I said, okay, now I got it.
Yeah, it was a Texas law.
Right. I said, I got it. Right.
Texas law is a stand the ground state. One of the things about Texas law, this is what happened. One time a case. Okay, let's talk about it. Okay, a black man and a white man in Galveston, Texas. The white man came up to the black man, harassing the black man, constantly calling him N-words every time, all the time. Just talking smack to him. Man said, leave me alone. The black man snapped, hit the man in the head with a shovel, and then put him in the garbage can. Okay? All right? Now, okay, the black man actually won the case, okay? Because they said that the white man was provoking him over and over again, constantly, okay? There was another case in Texas where again, a white man and a black man get into it. White man provoking the black guy. Black man said, keep your hands off of me. He pushed his hands on him. He hit him so hard, he hit his head on the curb. Okay? And on the line. Black man got off. You know why? Because he told him, he gave him a warning, just like they tell you when you on a pew-pew, you issue out a warning. Hey, I need you to boop, 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 or you gonna bop, bop, bop. Okay? You understand what I'm saying? So the way that they spend it was that Carmelo was the agitator. It didn't matter if he talked all the mess in the world. The moment that you put your hands on that person has every right to either fight or flee.
And see that was the thing, right? But like I said, the prosecutor, no matter how, I'm getting ready to call him a public defender, but no matter how his lawyer was speaking for him and coming off of the information, right, the prosecutor kept flipping it, which I understand they do it because his whole job was to just get him, prosecuted, found guilty. Even with the guy Eddie, right? They got a video out now of the guy Eddie, and I think Carmelo and them supposed to be together. But my thing is, I was just looking at it the other day because of what happened and everything, right? One, they was manipulated. Maybe I need to clear this up first. Because I'm live on my other stream as well. I don't think, and it's just me, believe that he meant to actually kill him. I mean, pew him, I'm sorry. I mean, unalive him. I don't think so. I think it was a form of threatening them, period, but he came on them. Threatening them to keep them off of him. And now we know that. You can see it in the video itself, even from where they came from and went to. I would have spoke on all of that. Because the goal is they coming from a different area. They showing you him coming up to the tent. But anyway, let me get back to this. I don't want to make it seem like it was right. Don't get it wrong, to take his life. I don't know. But I do believe it was to scare him off. But he did what he did and it happened. I got that now. So I'm going to say with us, and from the way they put it, it's like case closed. That's why they doing the appeal. And once I read up on the people that's representing him, because after that, with some of the stuff that happened with the three women, the melanated women, which it should have been some dark-skinned people up there too, that's why they're jumping in now. As a civil rights advocate, yes, we are going to step in. I know that. That's why I was proud to hear about the ones that's actually stepping up. And I'm proud of the NAACP. And excuse me, and the reason why I say that, because it's a lot of stuff that happened in Baltimore that I felt as though the NAACP should have been like on front line with us, with some people being taken out in Baltimore City, certain issues. But the NAACP didn't step up to the plate. Now, I know a lot of members in the NAACP. That's why I never joined them. Because number one, I'm already with a group that fights for the democracy of the black people in Baltimore City. But when it came to us fighting for certain things, the NAACP wasn't there. And I got disappointed because, it's like these are black people and y'all not. So either way, I'm proud of it. I'm proud to see that the NAACP, that's all. Look, Astrid, that's all I'm trying to say. When I read this right here in the Innocent Project.
Well, see, I knew the Innocent. Okay, here's the thing. You notice that, okay, when the case first came out, I never spoke about it. Now, I'm vocal.
I'd say, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But okay, so I really didn't say anything. Because when I tried to explain to Green and them, I said, listen, Collin County is extremely racial. I said, he's not going to have a fair trial unless they move it to Dallas County. Okay? They have to move it to a bigger city. They were not going to do that. The judge said no. Okay? when Paxton and Abbott spoke about this case on the news, then that's what made it political right then and there. Okay? Then when Metcalf's father started to get on TikTok running his mouth, and then that's when they had to issue a gag order. Okay? Because there was all kind of stuff and lies coming out about this situation. But I found it mighty funny that the judge only gave this case 2 weeks. 2 weeks. The prosecutor didn't really call any experts, okay? He called 21 people, okay? And asked them the one question that he shouldn't. You don't ask a witness, do you think that this was murder? You don't ask a witness that, okay? Then I saw that the defense attorney was like, okay, he's going to be found guilty no matter what I do, okay? So I might as well just go ahead and just like, all right, you son, we're going to have to get it on appeal. Because he knew.
I like
he
that.
Knew,
I like that.
He knew.
I like that. I like what you just said.
He knew. Because once he went after those 21 witnesses, right? The judge objected a lot of times. And then number 2, the prosecutor left it open for appeal because you do not ask a witness if this is murder or not. They're not experts. Then what they didn't bring in was behavioral. They didn't bring any psychological, no behavioral. They did not introduce Austin or Hunter's previous behavior. In fact, the very idea that they were known to be bullies, they bullied girls, and they almost broke their dad's rotator cuff. How come none of that was not introduced in terms of character? Okay? You get what I'm saying?
You know what? I just want to say this. You make me sick. Because I'm listening to you. I'm like, listen. Because look, I was trying to do the same thing, like check up on their psychological issue. Did they have some type of history? Not just them. If you don't look, you making me look at myself when you say that. When you was just talking, because you got to. Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you this. Why
was the interview that Hunter gave not introduced, where he stated that they grabbed that book pack and grabbed his backpack and grabbed him by his sweatshirt? It's a whole ass interview where he gave about what happened, and that wasn't introduced.
And you know what? It was a lot of stuff, because I know we wasn't there, but it was a lot of stuff that was stated. But it was like every time I don't know why I want to keep calling this man a public defender. But every time his lawyer would, like certain things we talking about, he would address it. It was like the prosecutor, she kept shooting it down. Now I'm gonna say this, right? Because I see the way they do certain things. When they got witnesses, you know they kind of coach them anyway. But it's another word for it, right? So that's what I started looking at. And the reason why I'm saying this, right, Astrid, I watch prosecutors, if you understand their positions anyway. Not just the prosecutor, the defense attorney and all that. I watched that, right? And I watched the way it's the theatrics of it. And then he played with the jury's mind. I was questioning all of that. Right? Because one, I'm looking at it from a realistic standpoint. And that's what we do. That's what we're doing. We're looking at it from life events and stuff that happens and a blah, blah, blah. That's how we're looking at it. But then when the law steps in, it'll try to critique what you actually see. And I'm like, shit. But it's still, you can still fight it. It's how you convince the people. But with me, I'm still stuck on the statement he made out his mouth.
Yes, because he said I told him that don't put your hands on me. Okay? Now, mind you, he said this before his rights were even read.
Whoa.
Okay? So you already know that should have been thrown out. Okay?
They wouldn't let him use it. You know yeah.
That's right. Okay. Number two, here's the part that they didn't understand. If he had the wherewithal to only push it in, it was a reaction, but only push it in. If he was going at it, he would have fully pushed it in. Okay? He only 2 inches. Okay? The other thing is that he got up, they chased him, and he found, think about this, he found the adult. Not them, he found the adult. Now you think about that.
Look, I'm just looking at that word. I'm just looking at that word that you use, reaction. See, certain things we don't pay attention to because, or it's just wording the proper words to fit certain statements that we make. Because like I said, I seen it, and I see it as what she said, a reaction, not something that I'm gonna just take you down like that. No, that's not what it was, and it could have been just about anyone that came up other than him. Because if you look at that little video that they showing with them under that tent, you could see pushing going on.
You can see pushing.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep. And somebody put that out, and I'm like, I had to look. I sent it over to my pages because I wanted something to look at and look at and look at and look at. So when people go running off at their mouths, right? Sometimes you got to do a little research, and we not there. That's why
Why was the video so grainy? This is the part. Okay, there have been several other people that witnessed a different type of video. They said it was clear. The video that they showed was grainy. You mean to tell me with all of this technology, okay?
Stop.
Okay, why was that video grainy? Number two, wait a minute, hold on.
I got you.
Hold on. Why was there no reenactment? You understand where I'm going with this?
Yeah. Look, that's why I'm sorry, Astrid. You got me excited because I was saying the same thing. I was saying the same thing you said.
Okay, but then here's the part. This is how I knew the defense knew. The defense knew. He was like, okay. He said, ain't nothing I can do about this. Okay? We're going to have to get it on appeal. Because he only brought up 3 witnesses. Carmelo's mom, that boy Eddie, and another guy. When the prosecutor and attorney admitted that he was communicating with Eddie's father and that they had talked to the defense witness, that testimony should have been... You see the problem in that?
Yeah. Oof.
This should have just been thrown out.
It should have been thrown out. But not only that, D-Town, hold on. Here's the thing that people don't...
They're trying to make a statement with him.
That's what they were going to do. That's it. But D-Town, here's the thing, okay? Why was it not introduced that the Metcalf boys was trained in Taekwondo? Wait a minute. So if you're trained in Taekwondo, that means that your hands are considered to be weapons.
I did not go. Come on, Australia. Oh my God.
Okay?
Your hands and your
are
feet
considered to be weapons.
Yeah. By law.
By law.
No matter what state you're in.
No matter, exactly. My ex-boyfriend was a martial artist.
If you take any kind of martial arts, you must go to the police department and register yourself as a lethal fucking weapon. You have to by law.
So when it came out that the Metcalf boys knew Taekwondo, so you, whether or not you know how to push a person, but other people would not think that the push was aggressive, but you're pushing up on a person as it's a football push to a 130-pound dude. You are 250 and 13 pounds, that push in itself could be a takedown in Taekwondo. Baby, come on now. Come on.
Could be.
So the question then, why didn't the defense attorney, okay, introduce those factors? One of them, that they almost broke their father's rotator cuff because he was an abusive prick and racist.
You know what? Thank you. I was trying to look at that because when his father called him a watermelon felon, and the way his attitude was, I said that's why his son and them act the way they do.
But
I said,
he had already, prior to, the reason why they issued a gag order was not because of the Carmelo's Anthony's family. It was because the daddy was out here on these TikTok streets running his goddamn mouth and making racist statements.
Along with the prosecutor and the fucking judge.
That's correct.
They're all laughing together. They're all laughing together. They're all scheming together. So they figure they'll make this one man a target. Not today. Not this time.
Right. Because you can look and see, because for them to charge the way that they charge Paxton, who is the state's attorney general, said, make it as hard. Paxton and the governor, Hot Wheels, had made a statement about this particular case.
And what I'm trying to figure out is, are they going to remove the judge from this one?
The judge is retiring in 6 months. Now he may have already stepped down, but it's mighty funny that the judge gave an interview after this case. No judge has ever.
He was holding evidence. He was holding evidence himself that the prosecutor gave him.
That's right. No judge has ever given an interview after a verdict of a murder case in Texas. Not like this.
Never.
You didn't see this in the OJ trial. You didn't see this in none. Never. You've never seen. They wait a year. They wait some months. They wait till after the appeal. They never do that. Baby. That's why the Innocent Project jumped on it right then and there. All the stuff that I'm telling you right now, they're going to reintroduce it because they're going to sit there and say, they're going to put Hunter on that stand. They're going to play that interview of which Hunter said, we grabbed his backpack and we grabbed his sweater. Once they show that right then and there, it's case closed, partner. It's case closed. The first thing you should ask them, are you training Taekwondo? Yes. Why were you training Taekwondo? Self-defense. So, okay, so under self-defense, okay, let's talk about bullying. Did you bully these girls? Yes. Did you try to break your father's arm? Yes. Okay. And does your father make racist statements? Yes. Huh.
But you know he's going to try to purge himself if he's asked to come up. That's the
thing. But
see,
that's still. But Stephen, look for the video where Hunter states what happened. It's when the very beginning where he states what happened.
Now, Hunter, go ahead and tell me what Hunter. Tell me.
Okay, so Hunter gave an interview to the news, stating that they approached Carmelo, asked him to move. They then grabbed his backpack and grabbed him by his sweatshirt. So then,
I think I heard somewhat what you saying afterwards, and they showed, I think, his father supposed. I thought it was an AI thing. And they showed where his father was saying he talked too much or something like that.
He said he did. His father told him he talked too much. Then his father then gets on TikTok after flapping his mouth with some of these TikTok influencers that claim that they were journalists, okay? And then he talking about I'm not racist, but they kicked me out of the thing, and I just wanted to pray with them. But they son ain't and then that's when they issued that gag order. That's when that prosecutor said, "You talk too motherfucking much. You talk too much. You gonna break this case." And then that's when they issued out a gag order. Cause I can tell you, I seen his punk ass on TikTok. I was like, why is this man talking about this case? I thought it was real strange. Governor Abbott and Paxton told them to charge him with whatever. They was going to charge him, try to get him, the death, the unalive penalty. Woo. But because of his age, they couldn't do it.
Well, what I was reading up to, because he was 17 at the time, and he would have went in the juvenile facility if they did the manslaughter, but they had to switch it up to not that they had to. That's what they wanted to charge him as an adult. Yeah.
That was Paxton's call and the governor's call. Trust me on this. That was Paxton and the governor's call. But if you look for that interview that Hunter gave when he explained what happened, then he changed the story. He changed the story. So he changed it. They went up to him, just like you said. There's no possible way somebody's telling you 15 times to remove yourself out of a tent, because then they come walking in. He was invited. He was sitting down, chopping it up and talking. And not one of these kids used their phone to video anything. Come on now, come on.
Let me say this. Let me say this, because I had put something in on AI, right? Because we looking at it anyway about them approaching him, right? While the defense heavily relied on the presence of multiple teammates to argue that Carmelo Anthony felt cornered and acted in self-defense, the jury and the court ultimately rejected this narrative. And y'all looking at this on the video. Y'all are looking at this, right? But you're going to reject what you see with your own two eyes. Like, what the... based on the visual evidence. Come on.
But the 21 jurors that he had on there all said that it was Carmelo who started it. Now, I want you to think about this. If a person, they asked him, was Carmelo standing or seated? He was seated. Now, if a person is seated and you're standing above them, how the hell a person is sitting down starting some shit? So he had to come up to do what he did. Okay? You see? Okay? So they don't want to make it seem, let's be 100% honest, that black people should not have the fear that white people will try to harm them.
Well,
historically we do.
I got you. You know, and I'm not saying it might not be true for some, but my son grew up around white people because he plays soccer. So my view on that with some is not the same as some people might feel intimidated. But look, this say how the 6 teammates argument was viewed in court. The defense attempted to use the fact that several other student athletes were under the tent to paint Anthony as a victim. Those are the ones, whoever, because remember it was stated like 15 times they had asked him to leave. So it was already some there that asked him to leave. But what people is not paying attention to, that you have to catch, how in the heck did Austin and them know what was going on in the tent? So now, wait a minute, because I'm, come on.
They said the coach told Austin and Hunter to be leaders and go watch the tent in the rain when they weren't even supposed to be on school premises. It was
basically the coach for what was. Wait a minute, you gotta look at it. He was asked, by the ones that was already under the tent. And the only reason why he was downing the team. That's what another teammate normally do. They took because they will brag and boast on the teams. I already know that. Me and Lil Steve was talking the other day. And Lil Steve plays soccer. Steve good as heck. He said, Dad, people scared to play with me. I already know. Because I know he's good at what he do. And he's a challenge for whoever that's helping to defend. So, but now, because he grew, this is what he's been doing since he was 5. Not just YT people, he played with all races of people. So when you dealing with multiple nationalities, when you dealing with people from all different cultures, and y'all are out there on a big old field, and you laughing, you kidding, and you joking with people that speak a little bit English, but you laughing and you joking and you playing, we don't in my case, some of us like that. We don't view it like that. Just like now. I'm not scared I'm not scared if anybody stops Steve. I'm talking about the Popo. I'm not scared if anybody stops Steve about whatever, because number one, I know how my wife and I raised them. And if you tell me my son this, my son that, I'm gonna call you a liar. Not just him, my girls too. I'm gonna call you a liar because I know how we raised them. Now, it's not the officer in the uniform that I'm talking to. I'm talking to that freaking individual. Because their uniform and all of that don't really impress me, because it's a person behind it. And it's like your attitude. You're no different than me. Only difference they have with us, they understand the laws a little bit to incriminate you. That's what it is. They don't look for stuff where they can find ways and means for you to be okay. Only reason why I can say that, I didn't call them so many times to come out to help me with clients that was off their meds. And every time I did, they turned around and came for me like I was the problem. Like, what in the world?
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes. Yes, I know.
That's exactly why not being, when I asked this one officer, right, I called, about a situation. And I asked him, I said, do you know anything about transitional housing? He said, no. I said, shut up, Steve. Because no matter what I would have said after that, I'm business. I called you about a business situation. You trying to ask me, well, what did you do? As far as you looking for something to charge me with. And once I realized that, it was like, the heck with you. Because now I got to realize their mindset with certain things. And it's not normal. They go into a different phase. And that's why, for me, I need an officer to tell me, why do y'all do that? It's like, when this officer stopped Little Steve one time, is a YT state trooper. Little Steve was speeding to get into the traffic. Well, he pulled him over for speed. But rather than him giving a ticket for, I'm gonna say, improper change in lane somewhere along that line, right? He gave him 5. Okay, we got that. But Little Steve told me, he said, Dad, he seemed like he was mad about something. And that was the first time I got scared. Because I know sometimes when them mother suckers got personal issues, they look for people to take it out on. And that was the first time I got scared. And I went to look for him. Because I wanted him to know he's not your average little black kid. Right? But it was some other officers, state troopers and police, is the ones that's part of, that's parents. They told me, Steve, we got it. But the thing was, I wanted to let him know he's not your average if you think, But anyway, when we went to court for the tickets, he didn't show up. Thank God he didn't show up. But anyway, I asked the judge, could I come and stand beside my son? And he told me, yeah. And I explained to the judge everything little Steve do as far as soccer and what he did to represent Baltimore City and Amsterdam and all this type of stuff. And next thing I know, the judge and little Steve talking about soccer. It went to that. But look, when I turned around and started walking out with little Steve, they started cheering us on, man, because one, I know for a fact where I come from, the streets, I thank God and my wife, my ex, for how we was able to raise them better than what we had. Got them into stuff to keep them busy. That's why I do the BMore's Real Teen Talk Show, to help parents understand, get them into stuff early. You got dancing out there, you got theater, you got music, you got acting. Get them into things. If they need tutoring, you can get them a tutor. You can get this stuff for them. I mean, get them into these programs. But you got to get up off your butt, parents, and go out to get them the proper help that they need. That's why I do the team. That's why I do this show. Now, let me go here with this, right? Because my topic for the day is basically spirituality, right? I'm glad, because I'm going to slide a little bit away from that. That those people, that the people stepped up. I'm part of the Innocent Projects. I'm part of the American Civil Liberty Union, which fights for people's civil rights, equal rights, and constitutional rights. Not just to say being a minister, or I mean a deacon, well, I call myself a minister in the spirit for Christ. Not just to say that this is work for us when people are being mistreated. I'm not just running off at my mouth. And number one, I know when I come on my talk show, because I'm live in Baltimore City and other places, I have to make sure at least the information is like 70% accurate, because it's always loose ends in whatever you're doing if you wasn't there to see stuff with your own two eyes. And even if you've seen stuff with your own two eyes, I know how the system can try to overturn that. So let me go here with this one. Today, it's all about my 12-step journey, no matter what I do. And I want people to know, if you're not in recovery, that's fine. When I say my 12-step journey, I want you to say it for yourself. My 12-step spiritual journey. My 12-step healing and growth process. My 12-step spiritual mission inside, to introduce yourself to you. That's what I was called to do. To help people to become one with self. So I'm not going to sit here. I don't do voodoo. I don't do witchcraft. And if that's what some people do, that's their purpose and vision and mission. That's their stuff. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I don't do that, man. But I can tell you now, when it comes to living a more God-fearing, and that's not to be afraid of God when I say God-fearing. Not in that sense, where you scared he gonna do this, he gonna do that. Not in a sense that make you don't want to connect. No. God-fearing life. That means you standing firm on your morals, your values, your principles, and you don't let nobody try to compromise your beliefs, because they want to push that on you. So when you going spiritual, right? you're reaching out to a higher self or a higher being that man cannot touch. And I'm only saying this for me. I'm saying it for me. So now I put this prompt up, and I hope y'all see it because that's my big head in the way. But I hope y'all see it.
You have to realize though, they've also told us in the program that we are the biggest procrastinators of our own self. So if we're not going to grasp this recovery, then why are we here? You see what I'm saying? A lot of people are procrastinators. They don't want to really do it. They go through the motions, but ain't doing nothing. They're not succeeding. They're just going through the fucking motions. All you're doing is wasting our time and our efforts to try to help you find that better life. Trust me now, I'm talking about myself. Been there, done that one.
All right, let me share this, because my goal is my thing is lifting spirits, lifting people.
Me too.
My thing is helping people to grow. Growth, spiritual healing, and growth, journey, and mission. A spiritual journey is universal. So it's not based around no religion. It's a personal journey, right? So it goes to tell you a process. I am not going to come on my platform and talk about something and can't share a process with you. That's not the way I was taught. And that's not the way I will talk on my show. I was taught to talk a little bit about whatever issue may be, and then go into the process of recovery or overcoming. So now to flip certain things, and it talks about reaching out to every heart, every home, every community around the world. This is what the couch conversation is all about. This is what BMore's Team Talk is all about. It's just not about BMore. But I can only speak for Baltimore City. I'm a mouthpiece for Baltimore City. That's what I'm known for. The voice for Baltimore City. You need to learn to be a voice for your community wherever you at, whatever city you in. If you in DC, you welcome up here to talk about the great work you and organizations doing in DC. If you in Delaware, you're welcome to come up and talk about what you and organizations like yourself that's doing to slow down a lot of the crime rate, the unaliving, the kidnapping. What is y'all doing in your particular area? Because we're going through not just Baltimore City, Chicago, Jersey, New York. We all in May. People get hurt, basically, because y'all not got to watch it for TikTok, right? People get hurt everywhere. But the point is, if it's overbearing, a little bit too much, what organizations in your community that you're working with, well, in your city, that you're working with to slow it down? Some things ain't gonna never stop. We already know that. It's a time to be born, and it's a time when God's gonna say, okay, come on. So what are we doing in between those times to help encourage, empower, and motivate the people that's stuck in certain areas? And when I open up my mouth, because I got to go to Steve, knowing that I'm walking in the footsteps of Jesus Christ, he came into the community. He came into the community with the people that felt less than, that felt like the people that had more or that was better than them turned their backs on them. So he came in encouraging them, empowering them, motivating them, feeding them, housing them, clothing them, It might not say it directly in that sense, but that's what he was doing. And then, hold up, let me back it up, because they was teaching. That's why they called us the disciples, to do the actual work while they kept moving in the ministry. So I understand, like my pastor, my bishop, he was called to teach. Now he gets involved in stuff too. I already know that. But the thing is, we got deacons that's in the church and they only do church business. The building, not this one. This one is in the community. And I just thought about this. Not Archie Lee. Archie Lee is in the community. We both got ordained deacon. There was a lot of us that got ordained deacons. Some of them got ordained ministers, elders, the ordination. But Archie Lee is another one. Marlo Hargrove is another one. These are my church members, but they in the community with businesses that's helping people to turn their lives around. So now let me finish this one right here before I go too far. And then it goes on my 12-step journey. My 12-step spiritual journey. When I say my 12-step, I want you to say it for yourself. My 12-step spiritual journey. Because it's talking about you. My 12-step. I want you to look at yourself when I say this. Now, I like the way they worded this. As far as for the steps. The first step, it talks about we admit we need a higher power. What did I say? The second step, we believe a power greater than ourselves can restore us from the insane practices. You want to be restored from it to a healthy state of mind. The third step says we surrender our will and trust his plan. The fourth step, we take a moral inventory that's going inside of yourself to address those issues. The fifth step, we confess, repent, and seek forgiveness. Because of the behaviors that we practice, we are the ones that have to learn to forgive ourselves and how we might have felt about certain things that was done to us. Know why? Because of some of the things that was done to us, we hurt other people. Come on, be honest with yourself. The sixth step, we let go of our defects and fears. Remember, I was talking about the stuff that we have done to other people because of what was done to us. Well, hurt people. So what I had to do with the jealousy, the insecurities, the distrust, the resentments, the anger, the fear, the lying, the manipulating, I'm talking about that negative bull junk that kept me in a bunch of pain and misery. A day at a time, I had to ask God to remove them from me. So if he remove anything from you, it's going to make you feel empty inside. I'm talking about that negative stuff. So now you got to put positive on that negative. So a day at a time. Now watch how it goes here. This is the seventh step. Now y'all heard me mention that negative side of Steve Copeland, that anger, the fear, the resentment, the jealousy, the insecurities, the lying, the manipulating, all of that. Still the same person. We humbly ask him for his guidance. So if I'm asking him for his guidance, that means I don't want to keep practicing that deceitful stuff. I don't want to keep being that lying, manipulating, no good son of a person I used to be. See, I have to explain it like this because I know a lot of people is not into Bible. I know a lot of people is not into scripture. I know a lot of people is whatever your tradition is or whatever your religion is. You got to find a spiritual balance within it. That's to help you practice a certain way of life. But guess what? I'm talking about the human being. I don't want to get y'all lost. And I hope I'm not getting you lost. I know what I'm saying. Because I had to learn to practice it. So look, we humbly asked him for his guidance. So now, after understanding where I'm at, it's like now I'm saying, Lord, remove those things from me to help inspire me to basically work for you. All right. The eighth step talks about we made amendments wherever possible. Remember, I just talked about acting out on that resentment, anger, fear, jealousy, insecurity, distrust. I used to hurt a lot of people. I know what happened with me, but now I got to go back and I got to apologize to the people that I hurt. That was real frightening. Some people you not going to be able to go to and say, hey, remember such and such and such. Now, it can start when you was younger. On up, excuse me. On up, right? Some things you cannot go back to somebody and say, I apologize for this and I apologize for that. Because they might not remember. But then now you open up a can of worms and there's a good chance they can take you down. That's why it states some things, some apologies, you just don't practice no more. Real simple. Okay? Then it goes on to say, now that was number 9. Well, that was number 8. We make amends wherever possible. We continue. No, we help others. This is 9. It talks about we help others on their journey. I can't criticize you. I can't talk down to you. I understand sometimes how hard it is to change your old ways of thinking, behaviors. That's why I repeat the same things basically over, over, over. It had to sink in. You had to give it time to sink in. Some people, well, people don't change overnight. Mainly if you know you live in a destructive lifestyle. It seemed like the norm. That's why we say you must change your old ways of thinking. But guess what? You got to put healthy stuff on it. So when I'm gonna repeat what it says for the 9th step right here. I love what it's saying because it goes into the recovery process of what we was taught too. We continue. No, that's 10. I got to do 9 again for y'all. We help others. This is what this 9th step is talking about. We help others on their journey. You get it? If I didn't get to learn about Steve with those old experiences and learn from them, I wouldn't be able to help nobody else. That's all I want to make clear, family. If you don't catch nothing else, catch that. I'm the one that had to do the work on me in order for me. And when I say that, I became selfish. I became self-centered because it became all about me in a more healthier spiritual way. Once I was able to know about Steve and why and stuff like that, now I'm able to go back and help others. So I became self-centered, selfish to become selfless. You get it? It was a flip. It was a flip. So this is the 10th. We continue our spiritual growth. I had to get to know me, right? So anytime I find myself lying, manipulating, cheating, and all of that, I'm practicing old behaviors. So I had to start the process of surrendering those old behaviors once again. And this is my whole goal of helping others understand. I thank God I can sit back and say, I'm a loving, caring, kind, considerate man. I'm warm. I'm passionate. That's me. That's my personality. Look at me. I can be a liar, no good, rotten, cheater, manipulator. I'm still the same person. Look at me. But I do my best not to practice those things because it kept me in trouble. You get it? That's what I have to use. Look how my hand is going. And I like to do this. I'll do this with my arm. No, you can't do this, Steve. You can't do that. Because this is the selfish and self-centered part of me, right? That wants to do what it want to do when it want to do it. This is it. This is me. That's the other side of me. Gain control over this. See my hand over top of this one? No. No. You can't act. I don't care about how other people might see things. I look at it in this sense. This is what I had to tell my flesh. No, you can't do this. No, you can't do that. No, no, no. Mainly if I know it's unhealthy. That's all. So look, on top of that, right, that was the 10th. We pray and we meditate. Prayer is talking with God. Prayer is communication. It's talking with God. Then if you get on your knees and talk to him, that's fine. If you got a certain place in your house, a little closet like set up, that's fine. If I just sit right here in this chair, I ain't got to open up my mouth. And I'm saying, I love you, Lord. I love you, Lord. You the best thing ever happened to me. I'm still communicating. I'm talking. He already know before I even open up my mouth what I'm going to say and what I'm going to do. I learned that a long time ago. He already know. He already know if I pray and try to sound good and throw all this junk in there, he already know. So my whole goal with prayer and meditation is being honest with me to him. Because he designed me. He already know. I don't have to lie. He know when I'm lying. So a lot of times I'll be like, Lord, I love you. Lord, strengthen me, empower me, encourage me. I can sit here and talk amazing. But the thing is, a lot of us will do that and we don't practice what we put out. That's all, fam. That's all. And in the process of the 11th step, where it talks about prayer and meditation, whenever you communicating with the Creator, in that process, you have to sit still. You have to sit still. You have to sit still and listen for his answer. Because you communicating, you talking to him. And it's basically like this. What do you have for me today, Lord? I don't feel like it today, Lord. Please give me the strength and the courage to move forward, Lord. You know where I'm at. You know I'm just saying it's communicating. Prayer and meditation. And sometimes when people is talking, Because if I don't sit still long enough to listen, to hear, I keep my mind open as other people talk. Well, my spirit. Because guess what? Sometimes you feed me the message. The message will come through you. And I'll be like, all right, I got it. So once he make his will and his purpose known to me, you know what I'm doing? This is 12. We carry the message of hope. Once he make his will known to me, because it's his will, now I have to go and deliver that message. I don't know who. That's why I say when I come on, I don't know who might need to hear what I say out my mouth. That's why I will announce to people I'm an ordained deacon. So people say, oh, he sound like a preacher. He sound like this. He sound like that. It's along that line. Don't get it wrong. It's along that line. But I'm a minister in my spirit for Christ. So I already know that. Right? I look at the work. I look at the call of duty is to go back and walk in his footsteps. Not just his footsteps, the footsteps of the disciples. Not just the disciples. When I read Old Testament and I'm looking at the prophets, I'm looking at the minor prophets, I'm looking at the major prophets. See, you don't hear people talk like that. Because once you got an understanding of all of this, you practice it in your daily life. Their stories are no different than mine. When I read about God telling Moses to go tell Pharaoh, that's like God telling me to go tell them politicians, go tell the law enforcers, mainly if they harming the people with what they know. You speak out. Mine is not in the building. This is the way I get the message across as well. That's why I look for people that's serious about wanting or actually helping to save lives or turn lives around. I need real people in my life. I need you to share with me where you at and how God is using you to build, in your area. I need to hear that. See, that's encouragement. That's encouragement. Because it helps me to understand, well, this what they doing over in Chicago. This what they doing in DC. Networking. I already know that people are afraid to step up to the plate. I already know that. That's the point of encouraging, empowering, inspiring people. You got to help people understand it's not to keep pointing at them like you're afraid here, you're afraid that if you already know that, it's to push that fear out. Let them know they better. They better than anything that they may feel inside. I do this with my own children. Let them call me and they feel like and I hear them complaining or going through certain things. The goal is after that is to start feeding them positive energy on top of that negative whatever. I said I wasn't gonna stay on here. I was gonna come on for about an hour, and then I was gonna drop. Um, but I'm looking at the time frame. It's almost 2 hours. But my goal was just to touch on spirituality and understanding that spirituality is universal. You know, so I have to keep in mind that everybody don't spiritualize, don't come through Bible or deal with certain religions, right? And that's something I thank God that my pastor, he from Cherry Hill. He came from Cherry Hill. And I love the time when he said, you have to meet people at the level. You have to come down to their level. So if you dealing with somebody that's struggling with smugs, they might know Bible, but disappointed. They could be mad with God. So you have to meet them where they at. And once you find out that they mad because they probably prayed about something or they lost a loved one and they felt like it was God's fault, that's not a good time to throw scripture at them. But it's a time to use encouraging words so that they can work on flipping it, turning it around, helping them understand it's a reason and it's a purpose for everything. But you have to use simple words. Try to share somebody else's story with them, why they hurting the way they hurting. It won't sink in. That's why a lot of us in the ministry was taught to be fishers of men. That's why Jesus told the disciples, because he knew they was good at their jobs. They was good at what they did. Mr. Copeland, come, follow me. Mr. Copeland, I'm going to make you fishers of men. Not just men, Mr. Copeland, women and women with children. Talking about me. I didn't mention nobody else's name. Because I had to become obedient to that spiritual journey, to that calling. Hey, Faith, Queen.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Pretty good, and you? How you been?
I've been well.
No,
you just said Ecclesiastics, right? 3. You just kind of went through that scripture, and you're already speaking on helping people based off of the situations that you've been through. So you up here just a preaching without preaching. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's called teaching.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what we do. I mean, you only have to go through stuff, right? I'm getting ready to say trials and tribulations, right?
whatever word suits the situation, and God will allow those words to come out as they need to be heard. Just like you said. You said sometimes people, when they're going through, they don't want to hear that. So that's why you're able to adjust, or God will adjust your words so that the person can receive it. So you just pretty much said all of that.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
And to me, you want to be taught well. And because I know people see me, right? And I'm saying in Baltimore City, I don't need nobody coming up to me. I ain't like what you said there. That's your problem, not mine. Because now I pray. And I can pray all I want and ask the Spirit to decrease me and increase him. And know what he tells me? Who else will speak for me?
Yes.
You the one got to open up your mouth. You can't do nothing. If you talking with me, Mr. Copeland, share your truth. To thy own self be true. Keeping it real. So if I'm sharing my personal, like from trials and tribulations, right? If I'm sharing something personal and how I went through and was able to overcome, it's only inspiration for that next one. Because you're going to go through stuff too.
Man.
It's how you go.
That's why we go through the things that we do, so that we can testify to them, so that we can say, I can relate to you. But someone who hasn't been through the situation, they can say, I can be there for you, I can help you. But they can't say they've been through a situation or anything relatable to it. So they're going to look at you like you just somebody who, you haven't been through anything. But when you've been through something and you've been through a situation just like them or similar, then you can speak, and God will give you the exact words and the exact situation that you've been through. And that way, all those feelings and emotions will come up, because you'll remember at that moment how you felt, what you went through, right? And they'll understand it, because God is pushing that through you. And they'll understand the passion in what you're saying at that moment. And that's the part of the testimony, without having to say any words of the Bible, but that's the testimony itself. And they'll know, they'll feel the love, and they'll feel the blessing and the spiritual, the Holy Spirit, just through that. So you don't always have to just, I got my favorite ones. I'm not a verse quoting person all the time, right? But I am someone who will tell you my situation, or, when the time is right. Because I always ask, like you said, I ask God to remove me and allow him to see people see him in me before they see me. I don't want you to see me, but I want you to see the God in me, so that I can help you. And I also ask him sometimes, like, Lord, well, if it's somebody hard to reach, Father God, give me something to say to them that nobody else would know but you, so that they understand where I'm coming from and how I'm trying to help them. Because if I say something that nobody else knows, and I know this comes from God, and they like, ooh, that's encouraging them. Because sometimes you have to ask for those things. And if you don't ask, how can you receive it?
And that's so true. I was looking at faith, right? Actually, I was trying to look up prayer without work is unalive. You get it? And I went to see where was that at in scripture. But it gave me some scriptures, but it mentioned faith. Basically, faith without work.
Because you can believe in it, right? But when the Lord say move, When the Lord say do this, when he says, it's time for you to do this part now. I've given you the vision. I've put the purpose in your life. I've surrounded you with these people. And now when it's time for God to move, for me to move and do what I need to do because he's done this for me, right? I'm going to put that work in. I'm going to do what I need to do when it needs to be done. Because I've already had the faith. I've already been given the vision. I'm already trusting and thanking him way ahead of time. I've been thanking God for years before I even get started on this process that I know I'm about to start on. And that's going to be my work. And that's all to it. It's all in what like you said, faith without words is what?
Unalive.
Oh yeah.
Now I was just repeating. Look, I was just repeating what you said, right? That's why I said unalive, because basically what it's saying, dead. So the point with this family is letting you know that it's work behind your communicating with God, right? Because I was gonna say prayer, but prayer is there. Prayer is there. That's talking. I had to understand what prayer actually meant when I'm opening up my mouth, right? But I'm talking with him. So it's communicating with him. And then I started realizing you can't maneuver or play with your words. Because a lot of us will want to sit up here and we call ourselves praying and we want to add all this stuff to it. And God hears, he already knows that you're not about what you're really saying. And that's sad. So I had to learn. You better be straightforward when you talk to God.
Straightforward, and don't be out here lying and playing with his people, because he holds you accountable for those that you lead astray.
Thank you.
So you don't need to be out here playing, with you playing with yourself first and foremost, but then when you start playing with other people and leading them astray, then you're accountable. So it's so important. That's why I always say, Lord, please tell me what to say to this person, because I don't want to say anything that's not meant for me to say to that person. I want it to come from him, because I will be held accountable for anything that I say. Because I cannot be out here saying, I'm worshiping God in spirit and in truth, but out here just saying what I think, what I'm saying, you want me to say? No, I ask him, like, Lord, what is it that I need to say? I'm not going to be out here doing that. So, yeah. I've been listening to y'all the whole time I was working out, walking. I've been listening to all y'all coming in and out, and y'all have had some great conversations, especially earlier with the lady up there. So.
Yeah, Astro String. She deep as well. But see, now I'm gonna say this. I see life in its natural state, right? So everything from the way compared to the laws, right? We see stuff one way, but the laws can step in to manipulate and flip the truth of what you see. So what I try my best not to do, if I zero in on something that better helps me understand that situation, I try not to focus a lot on the outside stuff, because people won't come in with a little bit of any and everything. That's why I kept making the statement. I gotta go back to what this young man said. And then on top of that, I admire the fact that he admitted, he didn't deny it. Most people would have denied, no, it wasn't me, it was somebody else. But he admitted to what he did. Because he admitted it, I thought that was honorable. But then the process was, for us, for some of us, I thought it was just an individual thing, but it wasn't. They made it seem like it was individually, but now you find out It was a group that came to him. So he, point blank, had the right to get scared. Then when he made the statement, because if I make a statement to you, it is to give you a warning. And if you keep coming, it's your fault. That's how I would see it. But I understand the law, the way the prosecutor played with it, made it like his life wasn't threatened. Wasn't nobody trying to do nothing to him. He was over there getting smart. Now he was getting smart with the other people before he came. I kept saying, I kept giving an example. We watching these boys come from another side over to the tent, up in the tent. How did he know he was there? How did he know who to go direct to? Somebody called him or texted him and told him. Yeah, but find out why.
Yeah. And you know what? The strange part about it is it could have been somebody inside that tent.
It was somebody inside the tent. They either called him and told him and them, because it went to them, but they called him and told him. I ain't give a freak about the coach told him to watch over the team. Look where he came from. I understand the part about that because little Steve was the lead for the team, soccer team they was in. Little Steve would wear Mitch Mack cleats. Next thing I know, they wearing Mitch Mack. Little Steve would wear the wave caps. Next thing I know, they playing soccer with the wave caps on. I'm like, look at this shit. And guess what? They weren't black boys.
I would have loved to see that.
I'm telling you, look at some of the videos. Because this is how they admire Steve. So I understand the point of Austin, you get me? Because he's more like, the lead one. I got all of that. But sometimes we can take stuff a little overboard. But the point I'm trying to make with that, all in all, the prosecutor did a good damn job. And excuse my language for you. The reason why I'm saying that, because I kept putting it in. Lying and manipulating the jury. Yeah. I don't hear none of y'all say that. And I put that in, and AI put it in there. AI, because they know we looking at it from a natural, normal stand. Life. But they found another way of saying how they use things in a more conservative way to lie, to manipulate, and people's mind. That's all it is. No way in the freaking world, just like with them 3 women. Being educators. Wasn't no parents on there? Was they parents? So what's the difference between an educator and then somebody that have children that's on the jury?
Exactly.
Because that's what I said. I'm like, then y'all wouldn't want me up there. Because I'm not just a father, I'm a grandfather. And then I do the BMore Teen Talk show. So now, if a child is wrong, they wrong. Point blank. If you wrong, you wrong. I mean, come on. But now the goal is to help you correct that wrong.
Exactly.
Now I'm gonna get ready to end this, but the AFRAM in Baltimore City. I read up on that a little bit.
Oh yeah, they had that fight.
Yeah.
Yes, and they had some guns on them, and yeah, I saw that.
And I had looked up on it a little bit, and the only reason why I didn't make it a topic because number one, I'm looking at we have so many programs for our youth, but guess what? a lot of them could be in these programs, acting right on this end, but once they out. So I was going to make a statement towards the ones that's actually working with them, a lot of them. Sometimes you might have to dig deeper as a parent, like in their butts, to let them know, you know, that unhealthy behavior stuff. Because it started talking about how it was a fight over near one part of the place, but it was about 100 kids that kind of like got disrupted, but it was maybe 1,000 people all together out there, but it was 100. Just to let you know, they were trying to break it down. It was just a small percentage. So once I read up on that part, I backed up off it because I was going to make a statement about it because it's too many healthy programs in Baltimore City for our children to still be acting the way they are acting, you know. But now,
hey, I got a question though. When you finish, I
come
got
on,
a question when you finish.
come on.
Okay, they got these programs, right? Do these kids, or do they have bus passes or ways for them to get there to the program? Like, have they considered that? Cause maybe that could be like, what are the reasons why these children, you know, aren't? I know it's parents have to ensure that you're coming, okay? But like, what are the issues that they're saying right now? That's
Well,
not
see,
allowing these kids.
I didn't look. Well, some of them do have transportation, but now you have children that's when they in these programs, they hear you, they listen, they try to learn. But now on top of that, once they out, some of them still will practice certain behaviors. You get me? Because they children, they young. So that's what I was looking at. I had to look at, you know, even with mine, it's like you can lay down all the morals, the values, and principles all you want. The goal is for them to live accordingly. So you watching them. And even with little Steve, to be honest with y'all, most of the kids he grew up around YT. So I had to tell little Steve stuff like this as they begin to get older. Say like you got about 5 guys who might want to harass.
Thank you, D-Town.
Watch this. Watch this. Hey, you got about 5 guys that might want to harass a female sexually, and you're not a part of it. If you can encourage them not to do that, do it. But if not, you call me or your mother to come and get you. Whatever, get away from them. Because 9 times out of 10, even though you didn't do it, the fault will be thrown at you. And I had to talk to my son like that to let him know. Because certain things happen when children get together. I'm talking about teenagers. And they playing. And they might want to call themselves, you know, jumping on somebody. So these are conversations I had to have with little Steve. Now my daughters, they did tap dancing, they did modern dancing, they did in school, they did modeling and all of that. So we kept ours into something. And the reason why I can say that, even though I drove the tractor trailer, it was times I had to go get off early and take them to training too. As long as my ex told me ahead of time that this needed to be done, that needed to be done. Now, not only that, when you have children that's into these dance programs, other parents, if you can't bring your child to practice, they do it for you. The coach Paul, I called Coach Paul Louis Steve's second fall. I know if anything happened, Coach Paul got his back. Coach Paul used to be a popo, used to be a police. He one of them ghetto type polices. But anyway, let me stop because Paul might be looking. But he real. He real. When they would have arguments on the field, man, Coach Paul would come for him, and somebody like call the police. I said they are polices. That's why I said when they in their uniforms, right? That's what kind of got me, right? Cause Paul, you bet not. If you listening to me, you bet not. You bet not call my phone talking about Steve. Don't be talking with me. But look, Paul used it's a few of them. Street polices. And I'm not, look, I used to call one name out, right? And this young lady that I know, she told me, she said, I know him. He flipped me on my head. So look, that's why I ain't trying to be smart, right? But I understand when we play that black and white card thing, black and white card, like we the only people exist in this world, like we the only people that goes through stuff. I ignore that shit because I'm telling y'all, when y'all, excuse me, Faith, when y'all where I'm at, I'm talking about being in the community. And when you go to City Hall is different. But when you go to Annapolis for whatever issue or to DC, right, to address the issue, it ain't all black people there. It's all races there. And you be like, huh? I thought we was the only one. When you see it, you be like, I'm gonna tell you, and then you'll stop for me. Well, the white man this and the white man that. Cause there's some blacks that'll bury your butt too. I started seeing that.
Oh, they the worst ones because they trying to move up. They want to make themselves look, Anyway.
Yeah, but look. Yeah, it's I'ma just say this cause I know your daughter young.
She gone. I'm so happy.
I was getting ready to say you were saying she going somewhere.
Yeah, I'm free all summer. Hallelujah. Oh. Hallelujah. Your girl is free. I is free. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. I got hit.
Yeah, calm it down, please. Cause my mind it went real sinful. Calm it down.
You know what? I got to go out for the first time. I'm sorry. I went out with the the group that I told you about, right? She had a podcast and she had it with, I forget what the lady's name was. Hold on, let me look it up. I'm gonna tell you. She was gonna do a podcast, so I decided to surprise her. She did a podcast with Kiana Johnson because she was going for clerk, and so we went up there. I went up there to the Burgers at Apollo, and I went out for the first time in a long time. Stay. Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm still trying to bring my mind back because you free all summer. I hear everything you say.
I'm excited, y'all. Y'all don't understand.
Stop. Don't get too excited.
I've been going to the gym. Hey, the town. Your girl back in the gym. Your girl is eating right again. I went to church Sunday. I'm feeling good. Okay.
Did you find a church closer now?
No, I went all the way to Greenville.
But,
that's good though. That's good, but
I'm trying to find one.
I go to an A&E church.
Oh, you go to an A&E?
Tabernacle. Yeah, I go to a tabernacle.
Okay.
The very first tabernacle church. It's a 100-year-old church that where I'm at is a milestone for us. So, yeah.
Okay. Look, that's a blessing. That is a blessing. But yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. I got so excited. Y'all don't understand. You know how you deal with a lot, and then, you've been going through so much, and then you're just like, oh, you feel like a breath of fresh air, and you got a little bit of freedom. Okay. All right.
I understand. Believe me. I understand. That's why I thank God mine's are grown.
Look.
That's why I thank God my phone's on silent. I'm like, who called me? So I understand.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's like only I had to put my phone on silent though. Because once we got into this building, I was receiving a lot of phone calls, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, because people thought they was calling a shelter itself. And I had to, and then when the chaos and confusion came, I definitely had to go there because I did it to keep peace. And be honest with you, I be wanting to turn my ringer on, and I do sometimes. I be wanting to turn my ringer back on. I'm like, never mind. Because the thing is, if you need me, if I don't see it, leave a message. And I'll, because I'll respond to them. But I just, oh, Lord have mercy. When you do what we do, I'm on Google. I have a website. Then we dealing with all together. Let me put it like that. I have about 14 social media pages. Normally, after like right now, I get off. I'm going to make my little clips. This is a routine thing. I'll make my clips, send them back out. I'll make sure they over to YouTube. I'll make sure they on all of my live platforms, just up to a minute or a little bit over a minute. Right? I'll send them to LinkedIn because I'm looking at whenever we talk about certain things, I'm looking at the educational side of stuff.
Yeah.
That's where my mind is at, Faith. Rather we talking about religion. If we talking about scripture, I feel like I'm home. You might have to quote certain things like Faith did because it's in me. So Faith, like you speaking of Joseph right there. I'm like, huh? No, I'm just picking.
I remember the stories. I can't help it.
I'm just look, because I'm like, look. I said the next time I be talking about certain things and somebody come up and say, well, where that said in the Bible, you better not be one of them Bible thumping people. Because I'm going to tell you like this, you should already know.
There you go,
because faith will take you. I mean, not just faith. It's a lot of people that do it, and don't get it wrong. I love it because I internalize it, and I don't realize.
Yeah.
I don't realize it.
It's certain verses or something that you just like, because as you were talking, I'm not even gonna lie, I was listening to you talk, and then the Holy Spirit's talking to me at the same time about what you're talking about, right? So it was just like, it's the point of listening to what you're saying, and then God allowed me to recognize, him in you, right? So it was just kind of like that type of moment,
right?
I can't, yeah. So
that's why I love her. That's why I love her, because I know we're spiritually connected, and I know she will throw scripture at me. If the Holy Spirit tells her he needs you to pray for him, she does it. She has no problem.
Yeah.
No problem. Elder, same way. We real. OG, he has his style. He has his way of doing things, which I want to respect to the utmost. because we all have our special gifts. Hey, Astrid, we all have special gifts. You get it? And the reason why I'm saying this, family, use your gifts.
Amen.
Use it. You know, identify with it. I remember running. I remember. And I said I'm going to check Jonah out a little bit more too, because like I said, I will learn enough to help me, encourage me, empower me to do what needs to be done. If y'all understand.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't go through, like some people might read the whole books of stories, of manuscripts. For some reason, when he guide me in, he will guide me somewhere to help me see that such and such and such was experiencing the same things. It's what you do to overcome it. That's why when I look at scripture and it talks about how, and I want to make sure I say it right, it talks about how the Spirit came upon them. Right? So you're looking at the Holy Spirit. The Spirit came upon them and they shared the words. That's why we look at it and we be thinking it's God actually himself, but no, that's the Holy Spirit that strengthened them, empowered them to share their stories. Even if they didn't write it, somebody else might have put that stuff together years later down the line. Right? I'm just saying.
Somebody else, he will.
Yeah, I'm just saying. But the point is, and I got to go back to what Jamal Bryant said when he came in our church. He said, find your life story. Your story is written in the Bible. And when he said that, blew me away. Because I started understanding certain men, just like today, when I look at today, that back then, human beings just like us went through certain things in life and how they was able to overcome it. When I look at King David, and I almost said a word right, but that TikTok don't want me to say. But when I look at King David lifestyle as being a 304.
That's okay.
He was a male 304.
Oh my goodness.
See, y'all don't like being honest with yourself. But now I had to look at this male 304. I had to look at this male smocker-tooth. look, Faith. I had to look at this male smocker-tooth, right?
Oh my goodness.
I had to look at, wait a minute. I had 2 wives and several on the side. I'm reading this and I'm like, this man wasn't no different than me.
Look, he had a whole bunch of concubines.
Yeah.
And then when he saw Bathsheba, he was like, I'm going to get that one, and plotted against her husband to ensure that he died so that he could get her.
I said this. My whole goal when I was out there, and I did get caught up, my whole goal was not to make my side piece my main piece. So, and I'm looking at the addiction side of it now, Faith. I said that must have been some good boo-boo to put her husband on the front line. I said that thing must have been nice. Out of all them women you mess with,
you need to stop, Steve.
That scares me. I do not want no woman. I want it to be nice now, don't get it wrong. With the power and that boo-boo for me the one gonna take a life.
Oh, Jesus.
I be honest with y'all. You hear me stuttering, right? Because I can relate. Because I did it with my first marriage. And I told myself when I stepped out the second time, don't make your side piece your main piece. So y'all know I already had it planned under this big hat, right? So when God took me to David, do y'all know I'm hurting now? I'm hurting, Faith. I'm hurting because I went against everything I was trying not to do. So I felt like I disappointed God. Not as much as her. I felt like I disappointed him because I understood my commitment that I was making the second time. I understood it a lot better than I did the first time. But I ended up stepping again. So I felt like I felt God. Now, it's not to say that she wasn't important. Don't get it wrong. But I needed to get my spirit, my life back right. See what I said? Yeah. With God. Because that's where the peace coming at. That's where the comfort coming at with the Holy Spirit. Because there was a good chance. And I said this to her too. If you can't forgive me for what I done, and if you think I'm going to be in here for you to beat me up with it, bye. See, some of y'all, but the word is saying until which name do us apart. Mm-hmm. When you think about running a tractor trailer off a bridge, what is that? Until it do us apart. So this is the only way I can think of escaping from something. That's why we got to watch the way we feed people. Now, I understand now, because I know scripture too. I know the commitment, but I'm like, dang, that's not really life for me. I'm like, I see what it's saying. I know what we're supposed to do, but it's not working like that. Yeah. So, but the point I'm trying to get to, when he guided me and he told David, no matter how you stumble and fall, I'm going to say it again. He told David, no matter how you stumble and fall, Steve Copeland, you still a man after my own heart. I said, thank you. I said, thank you. Because like I said, I needed to feel that spirit. I needed to feel that comfort over my life again. I felt like he took his hands up off me because he doesn't indulge with your sin. You live in a sinful life, he's there, but he's going to back up. I'm talking about the comforter. I needed to feel that protection over my life again. It was like, hug me, hold me. And it took me a little bit of work to do to feel that comfort again. So what I had to start doing during that time, I moved away from reading scripture for comfort and stuff. I moved away from listening to gospel music for that comfort and stuff. So I'm looking at how little by little by little by little by little, I started backing up. And what I had to do, listen what I just shared with y'all, that process of beginning to feel the Holy Spirit or that hedge of protection or that wedge of protection back over my life. I don't want to lose it. Hallelujah. For nobody. That's why I say, as far as with the house, with the cars and all of that, they gonna come. It's gonna come. Come on. The heck I look like getting into a relationship and we not having our own. That's all it is. Right? Yep. Providing. That's not a problem. I already know that about me. But the thing is, when I say that I want that individual to love, and this is spiritual, because Christ is love. The Spirit is love, point blank. Point blank. Kindness, gentleness, all of that goody stuff. Yep. And that's what I want my mate to feel inside. Because if my mate already know how to love herself, she can only get back to me what she had. So what it is, the two individuals embracing and coming together as one. God already there, but it's the two. It's the two. So we can only embrace each other. I know we're gonna have difficulties from time to time, but let it be once in a while. I don't need you coming home. We arguing every day, all day long. Then to 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, we supposed to be asleep. We arguing about something that happened over Uncle Ben in them house and all. I'm like, why you bringing this bull crap in? So look, yeah. So look, a lot of y'all don't want to hear it because look, I hear some women, right, and this is TikTok now for y'all. Why I can't argue? Why I can't complain about this and complain? Well, you need to go find somebody that don't mind. Don't bring in him. Because sometimes now, be honest, men and women, sometimes y'all like people that y'all all right with that. Arguing and fussing all the time. It's like an excitement. It's a turn on for something. Not him. Not him.
I'm gonna look at you like you're crazy.
Right. And see, this I'm sorry, Faith. This what happens when you begin to mature in life. You know, we already know we're gonna have our ups and downs, but it don't have to be all the time. That's all. I can say it because I experienced some stuff. Come on, Faith.
That's it. Like, you telling the truth. Because it's if y'all are not, compatible, if y'all are spiritually, physically, emotionally, God designed us, to be compatible, right? To be there for one another. That's why you can see in relationships like, okay, he does this, but she does this for him. He's strong and he can move up, right? And do what he needs to do to make the money, but he doesn't know how to distribute the money, properly. So she's, financially, she can handle the financial side. He can do this, or either or. That's why you are a couple, because you have your strengths, he has his strengths, but when y'all come together, you're a power couple, because your strength it comes together. And then when you come together and you have that great foundation, you're strengthening each other and you're strengthening everything all together. That's it. When you recognize that and you maintain that, you have the whole world in your hands. That, man, you have a diamond, inside of a coal, 17,000 feet down in the ground, but you got it. It's yours. Nobody else can have it, right? If only you did what you said you was going to do and make it through everything, So, but people have to recognize those things. And when you say you're gonna do something, do it, and recognize each other's feelings. Recognize how each person is, and that's why I say being with somebody, you have to go through 4 seasons with them. You need to go through the winter, summer, spring, and fall, right? You get to know how they're gonna act at certain times. Whether if their mom died in the summer, they're gonna get sad in the summer. You need to, help them get through that process. You know that. When it comes to the wintertime, because it's dark or something in this area, they're going to get a little depressed. So you got to work with this, right? You go through these seasons with the person so that y'all can learn each other and help each other to grow and become better so that they don't feel like they're alone. Because if you're with somebody but you still feel like you're alone and you don't feel like you have that help or that process, somebody to pray over you, somebody to cover you, somebody just to sit with you, even if you just want somebody to sit.
Wait a minute. Faith, why you ain't been calling me? Where you at? No, I'm talking to my son. Why you haven't been calling me? Where you at?
I'm at a game.
I know. I see it look like you under tent. You on a bench. You. Who game you at? What game?
Caleb's game.
Oh, I just called to ask you a question.
Yes.
If you need about $300.
Yeah.
How long you got to ask me in advance before I give it to you?
24 hours. It's like probably like a week or 2.
Man, wait a minute. If you call me and you need about 100 or 60, Now, how long you got to tell me in advance?
15, 20 minutes.
I know I was getting ready to say now, but look, the reason why I wanted to do that, I was talking with Faith and them. They know if it's anything like 2, 3, 4, 500, like little Steve come tell my dad, I need you to help me get my cleats right. How much is your cleats, Steve?
Like 300, but it's usually like a month. Usually
You hear? They know not to look when it come to a certain amount like that. They know don't do him. Yeah. And now he working, right? Wait a minute, he working. What I say?
Huh?
What I said? Cause you working.
You said I gotta get my own cleats.
Uh-huh.
Which I already got them.
Oh, you got them.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud.
Dad. I'm at this game.
Oh, yo, I'm so proud, Stevie. All right, Steve, go ahead. Cause I knew you would answer. I couldn't call
Tiana?
Yeah, cause you know what, it took me straight to her box. I couldn't call her. I give it. I should call and ask Tashir. I don't know what Tashir might say, but all of them know that. They know. All right, Steve. Love you, son.
I love you, Mom.
All right, son. They already know, right? They knew that from being young. Steve cleats. Now, I can take Steve to any sports store and buy cleats for $40, $60. Because he play on a professional level, he pays about $300 for them.
Oh yeah, it sounds about right.
And know what? I had to understand that because they are professionals, like basketball players and stuff like that. It's the material of the of their tennis cleats, whatever. And his legs, be honest with y'all, is worth millions. So we had to be real careful with him. Now I'm watching him. He's at a stadium. You can see the bunch of other people around him, right? But I could tell he's at a stadium. I was going to say like a tent, right? But nah, this what he do. This what he do. This what they do. And I'm really amazed, right? Because when I look at, I just keep looking at my life, and even though I did like do music, dance, and all of this myself, we had in school, and the goal is to get those programs, to start those programs, right? Again, music, art, theater, dance, and all of that, to help keep our youth busy. But I know for a fact, everybody not gonna come. I already know that. But you want to work with the ones that do. You want to open that door where they have an opportunity to come and work with you. It's just you got to provide it. And I'm thinking about Paul. Steve and his son, they played together since they was 5. But he's a coach. And something you said, a lot of our kids, melanated children, don't play soccer. They don't play lacrosse. A lot of them don't play volleyball. If you look at the age group, when they're young like that, it's normally either baseball. They might play football and basketball. But as they start aging in school-wise, certain schools teach volleyball, cricket, soccer. Those sports are not, well, I'm gonna just say for some of the American people, I can only speak that part, right? Famous for them. But you do have children that wants to learn about golf,
My baby, she loves golf. I'm mad that I don't have the opportunity to, where we were at before. But she loved it. Like, I was about to buy her own little golf set. She loves golf. She's interested in soccer because my cousin's daughter, she's into soccer and she's into track. And she is a beast. Oh my gosh, she is. I love to watch her play because she out there with them girls on that volleyball team, and she'll be walk by them and they be like, "Oh my god!" And I'll be like, "Girl, why you bullying the people out there on the?" But she is amazing. She is on her way to be professional. She does so amazing. I mean, and I'm so proud of her. So yeah, he has trained her well because mom was a track star and dad was a track star. But they put her in any sport that so now even their smaller daughter is learning soccer. So they're into everything. Okay? But yeah, once I get an opportunity, I'm gonna put my baby back into golf because she really enjoyed that. Like the putting and learning how to hit the long range and where to go and putting her little tee down and setting the ball on top. Like she enjoyed that. And like I recently found somebody who can who's around here. His wife teaches music, so now she can hopefully I can get her to continue to play the violin because she enjoys that also. And she got upset because she wasn't able to play that anymore. And she's like, they don't have an orchestra here. And I said, well, they don't. And, we in a whole different city, baby. But, I'm going to look for every resource possible, to ensure. But, when I looked at golf and how, golf, let me tell you something. Golf. I said, girl, you playing golf. You don't have any people make and all the scholarships that are available. And she's good at it. She was very good. Like the man that was training her was like, she does very well. So, yeah, because he had called me. He had called me to ask about my baby.
And you see what Faith is saying? It's so true. Because I don't want to knock us, right? But in your marginalized communities, they don't have, in some places, this opportunity to do stuff like that. To play golf, to play cricket, to play lacrosse.
I've been searching. Believe me, since I've gotten in Baltimore, I have been searching for something because she was asking me about it. And I haven't found any resource for my daughter to play her violin or besides just lessons, right? Or to play golf or for her to just, I've been searching like for something because she tells me she's interested in it. And so if she's interested in it, I'm going to do everything that I can possibly do to ensure that, she has the opportunity to do it. So I'm going to hustle next year because I'm already hustling to try to ensure that she will have access to violin lessons, if nothing else, So I was like, Mommy just got to hustle to make sure that you can get your lessons. I want her to do something that she enjoys, and she really enjoyed that. So I'm going to ensure that she gets that